We're going to talk about 3 beauty tips that will make you look younger in a matter of seconds. My very first tip, we're just going to dive right in, is primer, because there is a lot of controversy around primer. Do you need it? Should you use it? Is it really any different than maybe, say, facial moisturizer? I'm here to tell you with my 25 years of beauty experience that yes, absolutely there is a difference. And the main difference really is the ingredients, such as silicones that are used in primers that help smooth out the texture of your skin, especially if you have texture that doesn't feel really nice. It can make it feel a lot smoother. But my favorite thing about primers is that it actually makes your makeup stay on longer, which is something that a basic moisturizer does not do. Now, of course, there are exceptions. Primers can be built into moisturizer. In fact, I have a product that I use all the time. It's an anti-aging tinted moisturizer with hyaluronic acid, primer, and SPF built into it. So if you have a product that has all of these things, including primer, way to go. Primer is one of my favorite things, especially if you're over 40 years of age. And that isn't because 40 is just a number, like you're getting older. It's really about the skin and how it changes. As we age, even in our 20s, we are unaware of it, but our skin is actually losing collagen. When you approach your 30s and your 40s, you start to see things change, and that is because we lose collagen at a more rapid rate. Your elastin fibers may start to weaken. You also lose things like hyaluronic acid that really gives you that hydrated, plump appearance. So using a primer, in my professional opinion, is really essential if you want a smoother makeup application that stays on longer. Moving on to our next topic, which is really lifting up the eye area. There are so many more things that you can do that are so inexpensive, so time-saving and easy, rather than just turning to surgery. If surgery is your thing, more power to you. There are also services like Tixel that are really great for skin rejuvenation around the eye area, but of course they all come with risk involved and cost. And of course, what none of us want, downtime. So those are all things to consider when thinking about surgery or other elective services that can treat your eye area. But what I love about the eye area is that there are such simple, easy tips that we can do every day that can really make all the difference in the world. After 40 especially, it's all about doing things to lift our skin, our face, our eyes. And one of the things that I really love to use is my matte beige brow highlighter. And that is because it's such a simple tool. Of course, you can use things like concealer that do similar things. You can use different highlighters, but the reason that I love using the matte beige brow highlighter is because it is matte. So at the very least, you want to choose something that is matte, because that way it will not move around all over your face. And unlike concealer, it really will stay all day long. The difference between the area above your eyes, the eyelid area, and underneath is that you don't have the oil glands down here. So we tend to get a little drier underneath our eye area, whereas on top of our eyelid, it can get a little oilier and messier, as you know, which leads to messy, crazy eyes throughout the day. So by using these different makeup techniques that I show you in all of my videos, including using eye primers, the right types of primers, and using setting sprays, things like that, those tips will help keep the eye makeup in place. But to help keep your eyes lifted and looking more youthful, you really do want to use something, especially underneath that brow bone, to give you an instant eye lift. You can even use the highlighter right here in the corners of your eyes to really brighten up your entire eye area. My next tip really has to do with choosing the best foundation that is right for you. After the age of 35, when we start to lose those things that we've talked about, it really is imperative that you're just not piling on that makeup like maybe you used to do in your 20s or even in your 30s, because it's going to lead to caking, creasing, and by applying powder throughout the day over and over again, that can actually lead to oiliness or shininess that you absolutely don't want. What I recommend is choosing something like our Mineral Liquid Powder Foundation that actually has a powder matte finish. Well, It may seem a little counterintuitive because if our skin is losing moisture, we generally want things that have moisture in them. And that's why you want to have a really good moisturizer as well as primer that we talked about earlier. But when it comes to your foundation, you really want something that's going to cover really well, and it's also going to give you a nice, smooth, even appearance without you having to apply a lot of additional makeup products on top of it, such as powder throughout the day. And I found that a huge secret and way to accomplish this is by using a matte powder finish foundation. Now, not all foundations are created equally, so the big secret around choosing a great foundation for more mature skin really starts with the prep of the skin. Make sure your skin is nice and hydrated. Make sure you follow that up with a primer, even if it's built into a makeup, that's great too. And then apply a foundation that has a powder-like consistency. That way you don't feel inclined to yet keep reapplying more makeup, especially powder throughout the day, which leads to more caking and more creasing.